Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video day. And today, the Houston Texans had day 11 of training camp. And this wasn't a normal day of training camp, as the Houston Texans didn't practice in Houston. They didn't practice in front of fans. They practiced in Cleveland. The Texans have not left the state of Ohio after playing the Chicago Bears on Thursday. And I guess the plan is for the Texans to continue to practice in Cleveland the next couple days and then take a flight to Pittsburgh when the Texans will play the Steelers on Friday. Now, funny enough, really cool, Texans practice today, and I'm guessing they will continue to practice in the next couple days in Cleveland, yes, but in GM Nick Casario's old high school. So this was at University School. They're practicing at a university school in Chagrin Falls, Ohio, which is where Nick Caserio is from, and this was at his high school. So that's kind of cool right there. And we saw the Texans practice there today. I imagine we're gonna see the Texans practice there tomorrow, and probably, I guess maybe Wednesday. Travel day is probably gonna be either Wednesday or most likely travel day. I would say probably will be Wednesday. So I don't know if the Texans will practice. I would imagine the Texans probably leave on Wednesday to go to Pittsburgh, maybe Thursday, but I don't know. I mean, it's not a long flight at all from Cleveland to Pittsburgh, but we'll see if the Texans. I don't know when the Texans actually leave Cleveland. But I know they practiced there today, and it was a really good practice for the Texans. Now, both sides of the ball, defensively and offensively, had a good practice. But this was the best practice we have seen from the offense and C.J. Stroud by far. The offense really showed out. So far, it's been defense dominating the offense, and today that was different. The offense was amazing. I do want to mention, even though the offense was so good, there were so many defensive players that did not practice today for the Houston Texans defense. And these are all according to Cody Stutes. Will Anderson and Jake Hansen did not practice. Also, Joe Mixon for the offense did not practice. For the defense, Danielle Hunter did not practice. And then in the secondary, which is very important, because the wide receivers had such a good day, Kamari Lassiter or Jeff Okudah did not practice. But those were the guys that did not, practice in this game. Joe Mixon did not practice offensively. Two corners, and Kamari Lassiter and Jeff Okudah did not practice. The two big defensive ends, Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. did not practice, and then linebacker Jake Hansen did not practice. Let's go over what happened at the practice, starting off with a tweet or a post on X that was by Cody Stutes, C.J. Stroud to Tank Dell for a big gain on a sideline pass. Dell beat C.J. Henderson. So that was one of the cornerbacks who was out there today alongside Derek Stingley Jr. for the Texans. So there's no video clip on this. There's just, the update that C.J. Stroud had a nice gain to Tank Dell. Also, Cody Stutes, C.J. Stroud just had a ridiculous throw, totally off base, all arm and pinpoint on the sideline to Tank Dell. Incredible, #Texans. Then this one's by Jonathan Alexander. On the first play of team drills, Mario Edwards tackles Dameon Pierce in the backfield for a loss. He might have even fumbled. That was by Jonathan Alexander. And yeah, I mean, that's a good sign that, with some defensive linemen not practicing, and Danielle Hunter, and also having, Will Anderson sitting out today, that, a guy like Mario Edwards stepped up. He's going to be a starter this year for the first 6 games at least, with Danico Autry suspended for the 6 games. That's the way it looks right now. So the fact that he's having a good practice and making that kind of impact on the first play, love to see it. And Dameon Pierce is obviously getting reps at with Team 1, just because the fact that Joe Mixon is not practicing, so that's why he's going up against the ones. Also, Jonathan Alexander, C.J. Stroud connected with Stephon Diggs on a 20-yard fade in team drills, then hit Robert Woods over the middle for a touchdown on a post route. This is the best Texans first team offense has looked all camp. And I agree with that. I totally do. Just from what I've read so far and seen a little bit clips that have been posted around by some of the Texans media guys, this did look like a very good practice for this Houston Texans offense. Like I've mentioned, the defense had a lot of guys missing, but still, there were still notable guys that you can mention that were out there for the defense today. I'm not gonna go over some of. I mean, you can go over Derek Stingley Jr. There's one name I don't want to mention because he did something pretty special today that I will go over in just a minute. And that the person I'm mentioning is a linebacker, C.J. Stroud. This is by DJ Bien. C.J. Stroud is scroaching right now. He just threw on the run to Nico Collins and placed it on the sidelines where only Nico could get it while keeping his feet in bounds. This one was by Aaron Wilson. 2 updates by Aaron Wilson. This is what I was going to mention with the defense, with the linebacker. We have an interception. C.J. Stroud, it was a great day for C.J. Stroud, but he did throw an interception in this game, in this practice, in the drills. Texans linebacker Azeez Al-Shahir intercepts C.J. Stroud on a pass over the middle. Then, a little bit later after that interception, C.J. Stroud ends up getting a red zone touchdown running on his own. C.J. Stroud had no one open and took it for himself for a red zone touchdown. So that really recapped this Texans practice today of day 11 training camp, and it was a good day. And after the practice was over, DeMeco Ryans announced that the number ones, the starters for the Texans, will be playing on Friday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Honestly, don't know how to feel about it. Since I didn't know if I wanted to see C.J. Stroud out there on Friday. The Steelers have a good defensive line. I don't know if their starters will be playing or not. It will be interesting to see if the Steelers put out their ones, because the Texans have their ones out there. But the Steelers have a tough defense. Mike Tomlin has a tough defense. They hit hard. They have good linebackers. They have a good defensive line, all around good defensive line and linebacker core. And on the road, I don't want the Texans to play scared and not play C.J. Stroud at all in the preseason because of it. Because of being scared that C.J. Stroud could get injured. But I would have loved to see, because we saw the Texans not play C.J. or the ones in the first game against the Bears. I would have loved to see the Texans not play C.J. Stroud, not play Tank Dell. I don't know about the other starters. I just wanted the Texans to maybe be a little bit more secure with Tank Dell and C.J. Stroud and Joe Mixon going into this Pittsburgh game. I doubt we'll see Joe Mixon in this Pittsburgh Steelers game because he has been battling an injury. But those are 3 guys I don't really want to see on the field going up against that Pittsburgh's defense. With Tank Dell's injury last year, of course, just being careful with CJ anyways. And he did, he had something in camp earlier a couple weeks ago where, he left camp limping, and but he was fine right after that. So after a day or two, he was fine, ready to practice again. And then obviously we know about Tank Dell's injury last year. So I would have loved to seen the Texans be more careful with a guy like Stroud and a guy like Dell. And Joe Mixon as well, going up against that Pittsburgh's defense. And then there's 2 preseason games after that at home in NRG Stadium against the Rams and the Giants. Those are 2 games I think would have been great for the Texans to give some reps for C.J. Stroud at home instead of putting him in a preseason game on the road against a good defense. So, I mean, look, I don't have a problem with it, but I would have rather to see C.J. Stroud in the 2 NRG games for the Texans fans to see him and not to go up against that Steelers defense and him playing and getting to play the Rams and the Giants instead of, him going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll see if he plays in those home games against the Rams and the Giants. I think he probably will, but so I guess we're going to see him in all 3 of the preseason games outside of the Hall of Fame game. Let me know your thoughts on Texans Day 11 of training camp. That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out. Go Texans.